Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to take a look at 20 legend teams for season 21 of the Go Battle League here. Show went for 21 legend teams. Anyway, we're going to take a look here at 20 legend teams for this current meta. We're going to have one more week of Great League left right now, but also 2 more weeks later on this season. So, if you enjoy this type of videos, I would really appreciate if you could leave a like and subscribe. They always take a lot of time to do, and so yeah, that would be really nice. Thank you. But anyway, we're going to move on to the first team for today, which is going to be from Soft Off. Here we're going to have a team with Shadow Drapion, the Azumarill, as well as the Feraligatr. Drapion is one of the most common and like one of the strongest Pokemon right now. I would actually think that the Feraligatr is the better say-so for this team, and Azumarill is in the back. I would assume that this is how the team is played. That's the thing as well. A lot of times I just see the screenshots of basically the team itself, like in basically in Pokemon Go, but the issue is like some people use the middle one as a say-so, some people use the right Pokemon as a say-so. I don't always know. I can only give you my suggestion here. In this case, I think Feraligatr is mostly the better say-so for this team. I'm gonna rush through the teams here today as well, but this is going to be a very solid one, and again use some Pokemon that you most likely have built already. Next up, this time around I would assume that Drapion is going to be the say-so, but here is the team from Thackery. We're going to have Drapion. I think it is a normal one, maybe it's a Shadow one, like it depends, like you can use normal and Shadow Drapion. Usually Shadow Drapion is preferred, so I would assume it's a Shadow variant. That's the thing as well, not all the time we're going to have the correct moveset for the Pokemon as well, because they're not always posted online. But here, Annihilate in the lead. Could also run Ice Punch. You can also run either Ice Punch or Close Combat on the Annihilate, depends on what you want to do. Azumarill, I would assume on the back, and Drapion as your say-so for this team is again very standard kind of line, and we're gonna see a lot of times a lot of similar Pokemon, but honestly, I feel like there is kind of a lack of Feraligatr and Marowak in those teams here today. Yes, we saw already one for Feraligatr, but I think it might be even the only one today. So I'm sometimes a bit confused about the teams, but one Pokemon that's definitely very common is going to be Annihilate, and basically the entire team here is the most common Pokemon in the current meta. I really like this team here, by the way. I think that's a great team to run, because it is kind of what I would like to run as well. We're going to have Corviknight in the lead, we're going to have Annihilate in the say-so position. Again, you can run Ice Punch here as well, which I would assume is going to be also a very solid play. And then we're going to have the Morpeko in the back. Ice Punch is going to allow you to hit, for example, a Grass-type Pokemon for super effective damage, which you usually would be able to destroy with the Corviknight anyway. And Morpeko is your sweeper, most likely. Issue would be here, for example, Feraligatr in the lead, but that's basically it as well for this team. The rest should be kind of fine. And I like this team a lot. I like Morpeko a lot in the current meta. I think it's a great Pokemon to run. And so this is a very nice team to run, especially you have a double Fairy weakness in the back, so you have like an ABB style line, so you kind of want to swap out in neutral leads into your Annihilate, so bait out a potential Fairy type Pokemon, so Morpeko doesn't have to deal with a Charmer. But yeah, this is definitely an interesting one. If you say-so though to the Annihilate and the opponent has a Charmer, Close Combat is your friend, because Wickstuff is usually the Charmer and you can one-shot it with it. But yeah, that's going to be it for this team. We can move on to team number 4. Which is going to be a team that you're most likely going to see a video on this channel as well towards still, maybe today. We're going to see a team here with Carbink and Venusaur. 2 Pokemon that you don't really see that often anymore, especially like Carbink kind of completely vanished. Power Gem is ideal. I tried this team out already with a Rock Slide. Rock Slide is also fine. Rock Slide has the benefit of being a bit cheaper, only 5 energy though. Power Gem just does way more damage, like I think 15 damage, so usually Power Gem makes more sense. Sometimes Rock Slide makes more sense because you get there a bit faster. But generally speaking, usually Carbink has like the similar matchups anyway. But you see kind of how this team is supposed to function anyway as well here. You kind of want to leave your lead in, trying to align yourself with this Pokemon. And then you have the core of Venusaur and Carbink that you want to align. And that's kind of how this team gonna work. And so yeah, this is going to be it for team number 4. Very interesting team. And we can move on to team number 5. We're going to have Annihilate here, we're going to have the say-so of Drapion, and we're going to have the Azumarill on the back. Again, very similar team to what we saw before already. I think we saw like the same team in a different order before as well. Could be the case that we have some double teams as well, but here I just always have the trainer name, of course, on the left side as well. This is a team again that people had Legend with. 2 Shadow Pokemon here, which are both kind of cool there as well. But yeah, Annihilate is so broken, it's needy on every team. More of an interesting one here, we're going to have a triple Shadow team with 3 Pokemon that are not that common. Gust Pidgeot actually is really good in the current meta. If you take a look at regionals, basically there's no flying type resist currently in the meta. Corviknight might be one, but Corviknight hasn't been really around yet in terms of like regional meta at least. We have Poliwrath as a Say Stop and Quagsire in the back. Very, very cool team, kind of using an OG core of Pidgeot and Quagsire. Very, very interesting here. Definitely like this one quite a bit, and we can move on to team number 7. Don't want to take too long here. So next player here. I'm not too sure on how to actually run this team. I think I saw someone else as well. I think Jox used the Say Stop of Annihilate with Ice Punch here, I think, instead of the Marowak. I think Marowak is the Say Stop for this team. Would make the most amount of sense. And you have Corsair Duron Core, but I'm not too sure. But this is how this team is supposed to be there. It could be also the case that you want to rather stay in with a Dugong. I think it's more like an ABC style line, so like there's no clear pathway. And you just play around depending on what the opponent is going to run. But I guess it makes the most amount of sense to have Marowak as your Say Stop, because in case there's a Mandibuzz, you're better off having the Marowak instead of the Corsola. And of course, Mandibuzz would be completely getting destroyed by our lead. Next up, we're going to have here a team that is the number 1 on PvPo currently, and one of the ones that I showcased already on the channel as well before. We're going to have Malamar, Toxapex, and Diggersby. Again, Malamar is here to try to align yourself, and then have Toxapex and Diggersby to basically hardwall the opponent's backline. Next up is a team that I hit Legend with. I have a video on this channel. I used Shadow Steelix. They used normal Steelix. This is also the number 1 team in the world. Not currently anymore. I think Rise to the Occasion currently has the number 1 spot, where we don't know the video yet about this one, what team they used. But yeah, I used this team as well. It was amazing. It was literally like a cheat code. Went 9-1 with this team, hitting Legend quite easily with this one. It's very, very solid. It's really, really good. Some people were wondering, what do you do against Talonflame? You just stay in with the lead. Like, Talonflame is usually in the lead. Steelix is actually a very solid matchup against this Pokemon. It's not too bad. And then you have also Annihilate with Rage Fist still, which is going to be okay and counter still does damage. So I wouldn't be worrying too much about the Talonflame, but mainly your lead is, of course, the answer for that Pokemon. Next up, a team that's also kind of been very solid ever since like Mudslap got buffed. We're going to have Garstone, Typhlosion, and Talonflame. Showcased this team before on the channel. It's a very, very solid one. There's still definitely a video out there already from me, so definitely check that one out. But this is a very, very cool one, especially with Typhlosion. Running Thunder Punch here is really, really good against the Water-type Pokemon currently. I already made a video about this team as well. I made maybe this, yeah, this is not the way we say the name, sorry, there should be an R instead of the T, that's my bad, they're next to each other on the keyboard. But yeah, we're going to have a Powder Snow, Psyshock, Ninetales, we're going to have the Seed Bomb Morpeko and the Whiscash with Blizzard. I would not recommend you to go for Seed Bomb on Morpeko, I think it's better to have the Psychic Fangs, but the rest of the movesets are fine, especially Blizzard on the Whiscash came really in clutch in the videos, definitely check the video out as well. Very cool team, a very unique team, and very unique moves as well on this one. Team number 12, we're going to have here the lead of Licky. We have the Drifblim, and we have the Marowak in the back. I think Drifblim might be the safe. I don't actually know. I could actually see Marowak being the safe stop for this team, but you usually kind of most likely want to align yourself with winning the lead. I think that's the ideal scenario for you. And that's basically how you want to play this team. You kind of want to win the lead matchup, and then you kind of want to, depending on what the opponent goes into, align your backline towards it. Could be a bit tricky though against, for example, something like a Mandibuzz again if your lead is gonna go down. So maybe you use Marowak as a safe stop for this team. But again, that's the issue with like seeing only the teams in Pokemon Go. You don't really know all the time what's the safe stop of the team, what is the cause of the team, and asking 20 people for that is a bit of a tricky one. Anyway, we're going to take a look now at the next one. We have here, I think, kind of more of a classic one where Dunsparce should be the safe stop, as Rumels in the back and Superior in the lead. They definitely got up to, I think, 3,200 with this team, so it is apparently really working well for them. And so definitely a solid and more classic line as well that you can run right now. The Greek one here with yes, a Superior line that should be very solid. Superior being weak to flying type Pokemon is kind of ideal here for the backline because they have Ice Beam as well as Rollout and Rock Slide to cover that weakness. Also it covers, by the way, the Ice type weakness as well with Rollout and Rock Slide, as well as the Water being able to resist Ice. Anyway, next opponent again. Next team here, we're going to have Dunsparce this time around in the lead. Again, you most likely kind of just want to align yourself with it. And then we have Mandibuzz and Wigglytuff in the back. Could be also, by the way, the Air Slash Mandibuzz. I see some people running this one because it has a better matchup against something like the Annihilate. But I see here, I think that the Mandibuzz should be the safe stop for this team, and the Wigglytuff should be in the back. I think that makes the most amount of sense. But yeah, we're going to now move on to team number 5. We're going to see here now a team with the Wigglytuff, the Drifblim Souls, the Gastrodon. I guess like if you can align your lead, like if you can just farm on the opponent's lead, you're going to be able to align yourself again at the end there. You have a flying and ground type combination, which is usually really good because again here, flying types being weak to electric type Pokemon, you're going to have the ground type to cover that one. The ground water type only being weak to grass type Pokemon, you have Drifblim to cover that. So a lot of times here actually rely on winning the lead and then trying to align themselves later on with the backline. And I think this is one of those teams here as well. And so, yeah, interesting team here. And again, a little bit more of a toxic one with Charm, Astonish, and Mudslap doing all amazing amounts of damage. Next up, we're going to have more of a classic line here as well. Again, we're going to have Gastrodon, we have the Shadow Pidgeot and the Shadow Drifblim. Shadow Pidgeot is the safe swap here for this team. Running Aerial Ace is ideal. Usually, I could actually see a world here as well where Feather Dance is better than Aerial Ace for this team in particular because you want to use it as a safe swap. And as a safe swap, Feather Dance is going to allow you to definitely win a little bit more matchups, but generally speaking, Aerial Ace is more consistent. Aerial Ace needs 5 less energy than the Feather Dance and also does more damage than the Feather Dance. Of course, Feather Dance has the guaranteed double debuff onto the opponent's attack, which is cool. But yeah, Pidgeot is very solid in the current meta, and I would not be surprised as HGC Pidgeot also doing well in the current Show 6 Pick 3 format, but people are not running it because I know they're kind of too afraid, I think, of the typing and pacing and the stats of this Pokemon. I do actually think it's a very cool Pokemon to run currently. Next one is a team that I think also showcased on the channel already. This is with Annihilate as well as the Corsola. I think it was actually Shadow Annihilate, though I think I made a mistake here with this one. But there's definitely a video on this team already on the channel, so I don't really have to talk too much about it. Check the video out. Says of Annihilate, Corsola in the back as a closer. Corsola is really overpowered if you have a good variant of this one. I sadly just don't. But there's a ginormous difference if you have a good or like just non-XL variant of this Pokemon. Ginormous difference. Next up, we're going to have another Corsola team here as well. We're going to have the Corsola in the lead, we have the Dugong as a safe swap, and the Wigglytuff in the back. Wigglytuff is covering perfectly the Dark type weakness and the Ghost type weakness of your lead. Dugong is a very solid safe swap, allowing you to basically hit most of the current meta. Dugong is such a strong Pokemon. And yeah, that does make a lot of sense. You have a lead that's going to be good against fighting type Pokemon. You have a Pokemon in the back that's good against fighting type Pokemon. So even if your lead gets low here, you still have the choice to basically cover up the weakness of Dugong, which is mainly fighting, with the Wigglytuff in the back. And I think that's a great team to run. Should work out really, really well for you as well here. I think that's a very solid one to copy. Next up, I think this is also a very, very cool Pidgeot team with Gust, Aerial Ace, and Brave Bird in the lead. The Annihilate is your safe swap and the Gastrodon in the back. Again, the classic line of having Pidgeot plus a Mud Slapper and like basically a Mud Boy, generally speaking, is kind of a classic one that we've seen already before in the Go Battle League. Annihilate as a safe swap makes a lot of sense there as well. And so I think this is a great team and a very neutral team to run as well, which I think has a lot of potential. So definitely try to give this team a try here. And for the final one, I wanted to give this team another shout out. This is the first actual Legend team this season, and nobody really talked about it because there has been a bug this season where if you put on a specific type of clothes set on your character, you were able to basically force the opponent out of battle and just win instantly. And people abuse this bug basically, and I think the first like 3 Legends or whatever were all down to people just getting instant wins from the Go Battle League bug this season, which is kind of sad. This is the first legit team that hit Legend as far as I know this season, and so I kind of want to give it a shout out with Primeape here as well. I think you can use Ice Punch on the Primeape, makes maybe a little bit more sense as well against something like other Jumpluffs. But a very interesting team here. I want to give it another shout out just because it kind of went a bit under the radar this season because of the annoying bug that happened there. But yeah, this is going to be it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like and I will see you then. Bye bye.